And he wrote back and he said, well, it is. As a matter of fact, and we have an ex-preacher who's going to be given the program. Often we have folks who sit in the crowd who already know everything there is to know about everything in Islam, and all they have time to do really is just watch and see if we make a mistake. And I always delight them because I always make sure to make one mistake or more for them. So those mistakes that you saw were probably intentional. Did you like that? Kind of like, the most common question we always get, it says, how did you get to Islam? That's the most common question. Tell us about your story coming to Islam. How many of you already have heard it or watched it or read it? Raise your hand.
I want to hear it again.
Okay, about half the people here have already heard it. Well, now I have to tell you what Joha said. Joha? Yeah, you're not. Bled Hashem, Hamsi, Joha. You got it? All right. This is the famous character that people from the area called Bled Hashem, they always talk about this guy. But unless they're from Syria, because he's usually associated with Homs, which is in Syria, but if they're from there, they say, no, he's Turkish. We won't mention anybody's name who might be like that, by the way. His name is Ahmed al-Kurdi. Kurdi, you know Kurdistan, huh? Yeah. It touches Syria and Turkey, doesn't it? Yeah. Anyhow, I want to tell you what Joha said. They asked Joha to give a speech. He didn't want to give the speech. He said, give a speech, give a speech. Oh, he got up there in front of the people and said, you know what I'm going to talk about? They said, yeah, go ahead. He said, you know, everybody know? They said, yeah, we all know. He said, then I don't need to talk about it. And he left. They got him up there another time and said, come on, give a speech. And he got up there and he said, you know what I'm going to talk about? Well, they learned their lesson. They said, no, we don't. He said, then why should I waste my time? And he left. They got him up there again. They said, come on, give a speech. Come on, man. He got up there and said, okay, you know what I'm going to talk about? Half of them said, yes, we do. The other half said, no, we don't. He said, okay, those of you that know, tell the ones that don't know. And he left. So those of you that know the story about how I got to Islam can tell the rest of them. Next question. This is one of my souvenirs from Hajj. Anyhow.
If a group speaks to a group, it doesn't convey the message. It's better one man speaks to the whole group.
It's time for housekeeping. Alhamdulillah. Now, by the way, you can get the whole story on our website, shareislam.com, shareislam.com. And thank you for giving me a chance to do my commercial again. Said, this question asks about the Trinity. And then it asks about the different divisions in Christianity and their differences. And it says that these differences should be the first point to start with. Oh, I thought it was a question. Oh, no. What should be the first point to start with? Oh, okay. I had my thumb over it. I'm sorry. Well, sometimes people do send up. It doesn't have a question. They just tell me what to do. I'm used to that. My wife does it all the time. By the way, everybody knows who I am, right? Everybody know who I am? Huh? My name's Yusuf. Can you say Yusuf? You got it right on the first time. All these years, my wife still pronounces it useless. The Trinity is not mentioned in the Bible. Not in the Old Testament, not in the New Testament. But it is mentioned in the Quran. And I love to say it like that. Because they go, huh? I said, yes, the Quran clarifies your book for you. Let's look in the Quran and we'll find how to deal with these things. The word Bible is not in the Bible, but it's in the Quran. Many times it says kitab, 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 kitab. You know what the word Bible means? They don't know. They say, Holy Book of God. No, it doesn't mean that. It comes from Greek, biblios. It means book. That's all it means. And they put a big B, just like they use a big G on God, but it means book. We're the ones that give it the proper distinction, Al-Kitab, which means the book. And they are the Ahl-Kitab, people of the Bible. So, Bible is mentioned over and over and over and over, and they're mentioned, Jews and Christians, and also people of the book, with such nice reference throughout the Quran. Even some of them are called believers in the Quran. Yeah. How many of you didn't know that? Anybody didn't know that? That they were called believers in the Quran. Present tense of the verb. Some of them are believers. Yes. I'll give you one clue. It's in Surah Al-Imran, chapter 3, verse 110. And you know the beginning of it. Kuntan khayra ummatin ukhrijat lin-nas ta'muruna bil ma'ruf wa tanhauna 'anil munkar wa tu'minuna billah. Aha, somebody does know the rest of the verse. When you get a big enough crowd, you can find one. Most of us stop right there because we didn't know. The rest of it said, and if the people of the book had believed it would have been better for them, from them are those who have iman. But most of them, aktharuhum, are fasikun. They're fasik. Which didn't say kafir. It says disobedient. And that's very true. So, another question that's going to come up all the time. They ask about these differences. Should we talk about their differences and so on? If you want to use that, you're going to run into a problem yourself. Because if you said, oh, okay, you guys divided up into so many groups, that should make you know right there your religion's wrong. What will you do when they point to all the divisions in Islam? What will you say? Huh? The Prophet ﷺ told us, as the Jews and Christians divide up into so many groups, we're going to divide even more, and all of them are going to be in the fire illa wahid, except for one, and that's the one that me and my companions are on today. Yes or no? So if you already know that, don't use that as a criterion, because you're just proving yourself wrong. If they ask you, you tell them that's a prophecy. That's a prophecy of Muhammad that we would divide up. And all of them are going to go to hell except one. Now this makes some people angry, by the way, when I come to this point, because I wrote an article about this on the internet. It's been there for years, called Groups. And everybody's happy with you until you get to the group thing and you go, don't you mention my group. Oh, you can mention the Sufis and the Goofies, but don't you come to my group. Huh? Okay, Shiite, you can mention those guys. Don't you come to my group. But when they ask me, again, I'll mention when I come back to the country, they'll ask me, are you a Sunni? I say, no, I am not. Why? Well, I'm not going to leave out the Quran. I follow the Quran and the Sunnah. Anybody here only follows Sunnah? Duh. I'm a Muslim. That's it. Stop with that. I know some of the tariqas out here, you'd be in big trouble for that. But, you have to give bay'ah to this sheikh, and you have to, Allah, yeah. I just tell them I'm not smart enough to do all that. I just keep it simple. What's the first point to start with? And I'm going to